Hello students. So we are going to continue with the revision of the previous topics which I have covered in the previous videos. So here we are going to continue with the revision of keyword arguments. So keyword arguments, as you all know, they are used for changing the order of the arguments in the function call. Okay. If we can define the function keyword, if we can define the arguments in the form of keyword arguments, then what will happen? We can write the arguments in any order provided that we name the arguments. So actually what is there in the keyword arguments? We are just naming the arguments. Okay, naming the arguments means what? We are just providing a name for all the values that we are passing as argument. Like for example, here previously interest was just called like just by passing the values. Okay, like for example, like if you see the previous example, what will happen here? This interest function has been called by using the positional arguments. Positional arguments, why? Because here we have just mentioned the value of the arguments. Okay, we haven't mentioned any, haven't mentioned any name of the arguments. Okay, but what is the second type of passing the arguments? That a second way of passing the arguments is in the form of keyword arguments. So what is the difference here? Previously we were passing just the values. Here what we are doing, we are just naming the values. We are providing the names to the arguments. Okay, what will happen now? For example, if we name the arguments like this by writing print is equal to 2000, then time is equal to 2 and rate is equal to 0.10, the what they will become? They will become named arguments or the keyword arguments. So by naming the arguments, now we can change the order of the arguments as per our wish. Okay, like for example, if we have defined the parameter list in this order, principal, then time, then rate, then what we can do by defining our argument by creating the by passing the arguments as keyword arguments, what we can do, we can change the order of the argument passing as we want. Why? Because we have mapped the keyword the values to the variables even before passing the function. By just naming the arguments, what we have done, we have mapped them to the variables of the parameter list. Okay, we have mapped them to the variables of the parameter list. So what will now happen? They will actually go to where the place where they should go to. Okay, when we are passing those values, they will be received by those parameters only which are intended to be received by them. Okay, like for example, if we just try to change the order of the position arguments, then what will happen? If we don't if we just pass it the values like this 4 comma 2600 comma 0.09, means what? That we are passing time first and then we are passing principal as a second argument. Then what will happen? This time will then go to the principal argument. This will be received by the principal argument because principal is the first argument in the parameter list. So in that case, just by changing the order, we will not be able to change the order of the parameters. Okay, it will go what will happen if we change the order of the positional parameters, then the arguments will be received by the wrong parameters. Okay, now time will go to principal and principal will go to time. Okay, but if you want to have the enjoy the flexibility of changing the order of the arguments as per your wish, then what you have to do, you have to only define them as the keyword arguments just by naming them properly. So now what we do, if we have these three examples of keyword arguments, now if you want to change the order arguments, like in the second and third example, you can see in the second example what we have done, we have written time is equal to 4 and print is equal to 2600. So this is one example of keyword argument. Then again, what we have done in the third argument, we have changed all of them, the order of all three of them all together. Like for example, here we have put time at number one, then rate we have to put rate as the second argument and principal as the third argument. Okay, so this is totally opposite to what was originally the order. Okay, but but again you will see that what will happen, because we have created all these three variables as keyword arguments, so they will be received by the correct parameters when they are sent to the function. If they were not created as keyword arguments, then if you change the order, then they will be received by the wrong parameters in the order of their definition in the keyword in the function header. Okay, so I hope it is clear to all of you. No, see, there are simple rules for combining all three types of arguments. Okay, what are these rules? An argument list must first contain positional arguments followed by any keyword argument. Okay, the second rule will be keyword arguments should be taken from the required arguments preferably. Okay, then you cannot specify a value for an argument more than once. Okay, these are simple rules. Okay, these are to be followed. Okay, now returning values from functions. Okay, this is one topic. Returning values was not discussed separately in the videos, but it was inferred. It was a part of many of the other topics. So we haven't discussed it separately as a topic, but I have told you much things about the return values in the videos itself, because they were the part of different topics. Okay, so I will revise it once again. Okay, depending on the return values, function can be of two types. Okay, there are two types. For the first functions are which return some value, which are known as non-void functions. Non-void means what? Which are not void means the meaning of the word void is empty. Okay, the non-void functions means what? Which we don't have any empty return value. Which have some non-empty return value, which means they are returning some value. Okay, so these the functions that return some computer result in terms of a value fall in this category. So what is the return value of function? The return value of any function is the computed value after processing. After the function stops executing, after the function has finished executing, whatever the result it wants to return to the function, whatever is the computed value, whatever is the processed value of that function, that value becomes the return value of that function. Okay, the computed value is returned along using return statement in the as per the simple syntax. What is syntax? First you write return, then space, then the value. That value could be some variable also, it could be some literal also, it could be some expression also. So a function is capable of returning all three types of values. Okay, the value being returned can be any one of the following. It could be a literal, it could be a variable, or it could be an expression also. See, these are different examples here. Okay, somewhere you can see it is a literal being returned, somewhere you can see a variable being returned, somewhere you can see expressions also being returned. So whenever an expression is being returned, what will happen? First of all, that expression will be evaluated, and then the evaluated value, which is the final value of the expression, that will be returned as the result. Okay, when you call a function that is returning a value, the return value is made available to the caller function or program by internally substituting the function call statement. It means that, for example, if we have defined a function as sum x comma y, and we are writing s is equal to x plus y, and then we are returning s there. So what will happen in returning s? That value of s which we are returning, that will be assigned here. How we are calling here? We are calling here by, we are invoking this function by assigning it to the variable result. Okay, so what will happen? This value will be this sum 3 comma 5 is the function call here, 5 comma 3 is the function call. So here it will be substituted by the value of s here, and that value of s will be assigned to the result variable. Okay, why? Because result variable, we are assigning the function to the result variable here. So assigning a function means what? Assigning the result, assigning the return value of any function. Okay, so here we are assigning some function to the result. It means what? Whatever value has been returned by the function after the function call, we are passing 5 comma 3 function. So after the function stops executing, finishes executing, and returns whatever value is being returned by the function, some function, that will be stored in this result variable. Okay, after the function call to some function is successfully completed, that is the return statement of function has given the computed sum of 5 and 3. The returned value 8 in our case will internally substitute the function call statement. Okay, now statement will internally become result is equal to 8. This is the meaning of substituting the function call by the return value. Okay, now there are two very important things which are to be noted here about return statements. The return value of a function should be used in the caller function or program inside an expression or statement. Okay, like for example here, whenever we are returning any value, that should be used in the caller function inside any expression or in a statement. So in the first example, what we are doing, we are writing here add result is equal to sum ab. So here what is this? This is equal to, has made it as an statement. This is an assignment statement. Okay, so here the return value is being used in assignment statement by we are assigning the return value to the variable which is add result. Okay, then second method is by using it in a function. Okay, it is used in the print statement. Okay, by using it as an argument to the print function. Here the print statement is using it as an argument. Okay, so whatever value this, we are calling this sum function inside print function. So what will happen? First of all, this sum function will be called by passing the value 3 comma 4, and whatever value is returned by the functions as sum after executing, that value will be printed by the print statement. Okay, this is how this will work. Then also, and as a part of the relational expression also, we can call any function. Okay, like here this is a relational expression, sum 4 comma 5 is greater than 6 or not. So what will actually happen when this expression will be executed? Then first of all, some function will be called with the values as arguments passed. Then what will happen? It will calculate the sum of the values. It will return the value, and then that return value will be compared against 6 by the relational operator. Okay, so what has to be noted here is, if you do not use the value in any of these ways and just give a standalone function call. Standalone function call means what? Without using it in any assignment or function. Okay, without using it in a statement or expression. So what will happen? Python will not report an error. It will not be a syntactual error, but what will happen? Your value will be wasted. The return value will be completely wasted because it will not be stored somewhere. It will not be displayed anywhere. Okay, it will be wasted totally. Okay. function returning a value are also known as fruitful function. Now second value to be noted about return statements is the return statement ends the function execution even if it is in the middle of the function. Okay, so even if you define the return statement whether by mistake or whether intentionally in the middle of the function, then what will happen? Any statement which you write after the return statement will not be executed. Okay, you may write as much statement as you want after the return statement. Okay, those will be completely ignored by the interpreter. Why? Because the return statement is always considered to be the last and the final statement of the function. The return statement is always considered to be the last and final statement of any function. Okay, if a function ends the moment it reaches the return statement, or all statements in the function body have been executed, whichever occurs earlier. Okay, the function will end either all the statements have been executed or a return statement has been encountered. Okay, so if a return statement has been encountered without finishing the function, then all the remaining statements in the function will be totally ignored and they will not be executed. Okay, now for example, following function will never reach the print statement. Here the print statement we have written as the last statement of the function. Okay, after the return statement, you can see here. But this print statement will never be executed. Why? Because before this print statement we have written the return statement. So what will happen as soon as this return statement is executed, your function will stop executing and it will return the value back to the calling function. Okay, now functions which are not returning any value are known as void functions. Okay, in the case of void function, what we can do, either we can omit the return statement totally. See, this return statement is optional. If you don't want to return any value, then we can also omit this return statement in any function definition. Or what we can do, we can place the return statement without any expression. Okay, this return statement can only be written like this only. It means that this return statement is there, but it is not working. It is not returning any value. So what it will return in this case, when we just write the return statement and leave it as it is, then in that case it returns the none object to the caller function. The none object will be returned in this case. Okay. Now these are simple examples you all can study from the book. Okay, I have explained all these things. The same thing is being explained very well in the book also. So I'm not going into all the details because it will take too much time. We have already discussed these things in the video. You can go through the video, go through the PDF and videos. If there is any problem, you can tell me in your live classroom. Okay, in your live class. Then returning multiple values. See, returning multiple values also has a simple syntax that here we were having a single expression. Now we can also return multiple values or multiple expressions along with the return statement. Okay, what syntax will be followed? Return, then the value 1 or variable 1 or expression 1, then comma. See, whenever we are returning multiple values or expressions, we have to separate them by using commas in between. Okay, then so for example, return then space value 1 comma value 2 comma value 3. In this way you can return multiple values using a single return statement. Okay, what is second thing? The function call statement should receive or use the return values in one of the following ways. Okay, it should receive or use the return values in one of the following ways. Either we can use it first way is to either receive the return values in the form of a tuple. See, if we are returning the multiple values and we are assigning or receiving them in a single variable. Okay, like for example here you can see this example. What we are doing, we are returning three values. Okay, first value is x into x, second value is y into y, and second value is z into z or z into z or z square. So here we are returning three values, x square, y square and z square. But where we are receiving them? We are receiving them in the variable t. Okay, we are assigning the variable values in the variable t. So what will happen? Because we have three values and we are assigning them in a single variable. So what will happen? This t will now be acting like a tuple. Okay, and these three values will be stored in it like a tuple, in the form of a tuple. Okay, so this t will now become a tuple variable or a tuple object, and these three values which are returning, these will now be stored in the form of a tuple. Now if you print this value of t, you will get that the tuple t will be printed as 4, 9, 16. Okay, because the values which the multiple values which we were returning using the return statement, which previously they were separate values in the function. But now after we have returned them using a single statement and we have assigned all of them in a single variable, so what has happened? All these three values have been combined together to form a tuple. Okay, so whenever we are returning multiple values in a single statement, then what will happen? If we receive them with a single variable, then that variable will become a tuple, and all those values will be stored in the form of a tuple there. Okay, and second type is or you can directly unpack the received values of a tuple by specifying the same number of variables on the left hand side in a function call. It means that if we are returning three values, then how we can receive them? We can receive them in the by using three variables in the function call. Previously, by using only one variable in the function call. Now what we can do, we can also assign the values to the three separate variables separately also. Okay, so it is not mandatory to use only one variable to assign all the values to a variable in a function call. We can also do like this. We can also assign the values to as many variables as has been written by the return statement. So if the return statement here is returning three values, so what we can do, we can also assign them to three values in the function call. So here v1, v2, v3 are the three variables to which we are assigning the squared function. Okay, we are assigning the squared function means what? We are assigning the return value to them. So what will happen? These three values will be assigned in the order in which we have mentioned them in the assignment statement. Example, what does it mean? That x square will be assigned to v1, y square will be assigned to v2, and z square will be assigned to v3. So in the order in which we are using the variables in the assignment statement, in the same order these values will be assigned to the different variables respectively. Okay, return values you can print them. You can see the x square will be there in v1, y square is there in v2, and s cube is there y square and z square is there in v3. So this is a very simple example. I've given this example in your assignment also. You can see what is there. Here we are passing different values of the operations being performed on the two values. Here we are passing two values, and this function is returning different values after the different operations have been performed on them. So all these different return expressions are actually different results of different operations here, like plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulus. Okay, all these values are being passed as different expressions, or all the values are being returned as different expressions in the return statement. So what will happen here? We are using different variables like add, sum, mul, division, mod. These five variables are being used in the function call for receiving these five values, and then you can see all of these values will be returned. All these values will be received in the order of the variables, and then you can see you can easily print all the different values in the program. So this is very simple program. You should all of you should run this program in your system, and you should write in this program in your assignment as an answer to the assignment question also in your fair copy. So we'll continue the next video. Till then, thank you.